let's talk about Mulan. I finally watched the live-action remake. Spoiler warning, this video has spoilers for Mulan if you haven't seen it yet. I waited a long time for this movie and was so excited to finally watch it. I was partly really excited for this movie because Jimmy Wong from the Command Zone is one of the main friends of Mulan in the live-action version, and he was missing from his YouTube channel for a long time for filming, and then the movie release got delayed, and then he's hardly in it at all. And that is one of the main things that is different about this movie from the original one, and one of the things that I think makes it not quite as good is the de-emphasis on Mulan's relationships with those friends that she makes. This movie is a lot more about her and her personal journey, and we just kind of lose the focus of how she made those friends along her way. Except for Chen, who was not in the original. He's an added character. Oh, and the cricket is not a cricket, he's a friend named Cricket. And another thing that makes this movie a little different from the animated version is what Mulan's journey is in the first place. It's a lot less of your hero's journey and more about her personal journey and discovering her place in the world and who she is as a woman. This video is mostly about Mulan herself and her character, but I do want to mention that this movie could have gone very feminism oriented and really gotten strongly into that lane. And I don't think they went overboard with it. I think they just did a good job of highlighting Mulan's struggle as a woman and making that struggle relatable even for modern women. But it does have some of those feminist themes that fit more into the modern world, and women in general can sympathize with Mulan and really understand her struggle, because a lot of us have felt the same things that Mulan goes through, even though we're not in historical China. And one of those things, and kind of the main thing in this movie for her, is being told from an early age that she is not going to be able to fulfill her desired destiny. She is not going to be able to follow her dreams, and the life that she wants is not for her because she's a girl. I think that message still creeps into a lot of girls' lives, even now, today, in modern America, but thankfully it's so much less prevalent, especially in modern times. It's so much more common to be told you can do whatever you want. What a positive message that is. Not for Mulan, though. That's not what she was told. She was told, you may bring honor to your family through marriage. That's your job. That is your destiny. Get a man, get married, the end, done. Imagine being told that your purpose in life is marriage. Basically, your worth as a person isn't even about you. It's about the person that you are going to marry. You're not actually worth anything on your own, but what can you bring to this person? What can you bring to the marriage? Nobody wants to be told that. Who wants to be told, you don't matter, just your marriage possibilities matter? And for Mulan, that's not good enough. She rebels against that idea, as she should. And Mulan, like so many of these other Disney princess-esque like characters, because they're not all princesses, Mulan's not, she wants something more out of life. She desires more than what she's told she's allowed to have. I think that's such a common theme because so often in life we feel like we don't get to have what we desire out of life. And that's what makes these Disney girl princess characters so relatable to so many of us. We want more out of life. Mulan wants more out of life. That, paired with the fact that she does care so deeply about her father and her family, means that when the opportunity comes for her to do something, she doesn't hesitate. She steals her father's armor, she runs away, she takes his place so that he doesn't have to go. She doesn't care that much, I don't think, about protecting China at large and fighting for her emperor. I think she does. I think she's pretty patriotic. But that's not what's the most important to her. What was the most important to her was her family. And by going off to fight in her father's place, she's protecting him. And she's not taking her father away from her mother and sister. So she arrives at the training camp. And this is another part in the movie where there's some more of these feminist themes and just themes of what gender roles are or were and what they should be. But it's not like thrown in your face. You can just tell that they wanted to handle it differently from the animated version. For one thing, there is no emphasis on becoming more of a man. Be a man. No, That was not in the movie anywhere. And I know some people were disappointed that this fun song was not in the movie, but that's not at all what this movie is about. Because this is Mulan's personal journey. It's not about her becoming a man. It's about her becoming a strong woman, discovering her place, embracing her chi. This movie is very lacking in toxic masculinity, which I think is great. It does show some of it when the friends are sitting around and joking together. What do you value in a woman? I like her buxom, ha ha ha. And Mulan steps up and defends what she thinks a man should desire in a woman. I want my woman to be courageous. And they laugh at her, but she really speaks up and challenges them. And her love interest? I don't know. I don't really see it as a love interest in this movie. He seems impressed. He's like, oh yeah, a woman should be more than just the things we've always thought that they should be. And here's something I love about the movie and how it reflects on Mulan's personal journey. As a music teacher, I love to take note of the music in movies and TV shows, and they really utilized the musical score interestingly from the original to this one, because the main theme and the main song that they chose to go with was Reflection. And if you know the lyrics to the song Reflection, they really just exemplify what this whole movie was about. It's not about all the other stuff, becoming a soldier, defending China. Even the relationships with her friends are kind of downplayed. It's more about her, reflecting on her place, reflecting on who is this girl looking back at me. And during the sequence when she is discovering that she is a strong soldier and a strong chi user and kind of embracing herself and she's climbing the mountain, the Be a Man theme is absent. It is the Reflection theme because that song and those lyrics are what's going on inside of her. She is digging deep and she is finding herself. And the music, I think, was used so wisely to show that. And the Be a Man theme just wouldn't have worked here because this movie wasn't about Mulan or even the other men in the army becoming what the Chinese military thinks a man should be. In the animated movie, it kind of was, and it showed them progressing from just the normal average people that they were to becoming soldiers, and that was a really nice feeling. This movie just didn't need that feeling. That's not what it was about. Now, I know there are some people who thought that the addition of the witch was a little weird because the witch wasn't in the original movie. How dare they add such a weird, strange character, especially if they're going to leave out Mushu. But I really loved the relationship between Mulan and the witch. They start out as enemies, but once they meet, they start to see a lot of themselves in each other. They kind of bond a little bit because the witch sees Mulan and it's like looking into her past. That's the girl I used to be. She's giving her this really pessimistic advice. You'll never find a place in this world. See how they just use you? Even though you saved them, they still don't appreciate you. That's how she's been made to feel her entire life. And so this is what she tells the younger woman, Mulan, to expect out of life. Don't bother being hopeful. You may as well prepare for the worst in life. And Mulan, even though she tries to say, I'm nothing like you, can still see what she could become if things don't go well for her, if she follows the same path as this other woman did, and she rebels against that. That's not what she wants to become. But because they have this kind of connection and such similar things in their lives, the witch kind of takes on a little bit of protectiveness for her and ends up saving Mulan. She takes an arrow for her. So while the addition of this other character might have been weird, I thought it was really well done. And of course, Mulan is the hero. She saves the day. She kills the bad guy. She saves the emperor. She gets this big reward that at first she says no to because she has to go back to her family. She has realized that her family, even though her family was important to her, she realizes that she acted selfishly, and the dishonor that she brought her family is something that she needs to go and rectify. And so she does. And she especially makes up with her father, the one that she feels she let down the most. Okay, and one of my favorite things, and I know this wasn't even in the original, but I am so glad that they did not decide to end this movie with a kiss. I am so against unnecessary kisses at the end of movies, especially when the movie is not about romance. There really is no romance in Mulan. The relationship between Mulan and Chen is really about mutual respect. They're learning about each other. They're learning to respect what the other person is, regardless of their gender or their interest in each other. When he finds out she's a woman, he's kind of like, oh, she is not so bad. But there's no emphasis or any focus on any kind of romance. So at the end, when he wants to say goodbye to her, he just holds out his hand to her and says, will you take my hand now? And she does. And I thought that was so much better done than if there had been this weird, unnecessary kissing moment. The ones I hated it the most in were Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker and at the end of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I could rant for a while about those, but I won't. I am just thankful and happy that Mulan doesn't need to kiss a guy at the end of her story. Her story's not about that. She doesn't need a man. She didn't have to become a man. She is her own woman, and she can kiss a guy if she wants to, and she didn't want to. And the movie basically is a Disney princess happy ending for her. She is finally seen and accepted as a woman and as herself. Happy endings, yay! I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what your thoughts were on this live action remake. I'd love to know what other people think about it. You can follow me on Instagram, you can subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye!